I'm a professional, obviously. Hey nerds, it is Michaela back again, early morning. This video is probably going to be a little bit more low energy because, like I said, it's very early in the morning. It's before 8 a.m. and I am recording this on my porch because I have patio furniture for the first time and I'm extremely excited. So you're going to hear morning commute traffic, but I wanted to record something on my porch before it got too hot. So that's why I'm recording so early. I'm also recording very early because I have 3 videos that I want to record today, just like power marathon. I'm a professional, obviously. So I wanted to get a kickstart on that. It's also going to be low energy because I was up very late last night at a writer's workshop that I thought started at 6:30 Eastern time, but was in fact 6:30 Pacific time. So I was up far later than usual and I'm very, very tired. Is that a cat? It's not a cat. Already a terrible day. So this is the first video that I am recording today, but the second one you're going to see, because I just want to record this one first because I think it's going to be nice and short and something I can do relatively quickly, and that is going to be the next installment in my one book series. Quick rundown: I buy a book for $1 and then I read it and then I review it and then I tell you if you should buy it for $1. This one was a surprise. I was in the Dollar Tree getting Dollar Tree things. A car is leaving, so we're gonna have to like deal with that. And as I was walking through the book section, I saw this book and I first of all didn't know this book existed and couldn't believe I was getting it for $1. So I was very excited, mostly because I didn't even know this person had a book. The person is Joe Biden and the book is Promise Me Dad, and this is a memoir about his year during the final year of his son Beau Biden's life. If you don't know who Joe Biden is because you're not in the United States or because you are mercifully living under a rock, which congratulations on that living arrangement. I'm so jealous. Joe Biden is the Democratic nominee for president. Currently, he was Barack Obama's vice president for 8 years. And while he was vice president, his eldest son, Beau Biden, died of cancer, which, by the way, I legit didn't know until a year ago. I guess I just I thought I was paying attention to politics in I've already forgotten when Beau Biden dies. Oh my god. Whatever the year he died in, it was 2014-ish. I thought I was paying attention to politics then, and it turns out I guess I wasn't, because I had no idea until legitimately the start of this Democratic race, or at least when Joe Biden got into the race, that he had a son who died in office. So, like I said, this is a memoir about it's about the final year and change, or maybe just under a year. Oh, god, I can't remember. I finished this last night. Of Beau Biden's life, but from obviously Joe Biden's perspective. And what I really liked about it right off the bat was how it bounced back and forth between Joe Biden being a father losing a son, and then Joe Biden being vice president of the United States, and how those two things did not get to exist separately. They very much existed together, and were things that he had to deal with together, and he had to be in a hospital on the phone with a leader in Iraq, and then hop back off to say goodbye to his son as he was getting into surgery, shit like that, right? And I thought that was super fascinating, and that kind of sort of chaotic back and forth came across really well on the page. I would get fully immersed in whatever sort of political thing was happening, and then on a dime be and then this thing happened to Beau, and I'm oh fuck, right. I can't imagine how horrifically difficult that was. I mean, I can now because you wrote a book about it, but that must have been the most mentally taxing thing, and that came across on the page. I really felt I could understand that. I need to stop filming videos like this because the camera is always going to be all over the place, and I'm really sorry. Generally speaking, I thought the writing was good. It wasn't the best writing in the world, but it did what it needed to do, and it wasn't really pretentious or pompous or flowery in a way that I think is true to who Joe Biden is. I don't know if he had a ghostwriter or an assistant writer. I didn't see one. I looked in the what's it, the page, Library of Congress page. I can't remember what it's called. It's very early in the morning. I can't see one, so maybe he wrote this whole thing himself. I don't know. But yeah, the writing was fine. It wasn't anything stand out. I wasn't oh my god, Joe Biden's a literary genius, but he did a good job. In terms of content, there were 2 things that really bumped me. The first was it's sort of Joe Biden's doubling down on the 1994 crime bill. Bro, take the L. It wasn't a good idea. And the second was this weird hyperfixation on stoic masculinity and on repressing emotion and his strength coming from not letting them know how you're feeling And like, this book did not come out that long ago. I believe it was 2017. It's like, no. Like, there was lots of talk between Joe and his two sons, Hunter and Biden in particular, about like not crying and don't let them see you cry, and like be strong, don't cry. And I'm just like, it's like 2017 this book came out. Is that like that's really still the narrative we're going with? Like, I get that you're old as fuck, Biden, but like, what if people did see you cry? Like, what if? Like, how many times did Barack Obama like fully fucking cry on television? Like, I remember after the shooting in Newtown, him trying to give that speech and just like fucking losing it. And like, that was a moment, like that was a cultural moment. I get that that's part of your truth or whatever, but there was no examination of it. Like, it's fine if like that's how you were raised and like that's how you raised your son because it was the 70s or whatever, but there was no examination of like, hey, maybe this wasn't the most emotionally intelligent way to handle my son dying, or it wasn't the most emotionally intelligent way for my son to handle his own dying, or for my son to handle his brother's dying, right? Like, there was no stopping to think that like, hey, the way we talk about male emotion isn't healthy. And like, that I bumped on for me. Like, again, this is a memoir, it was short, so there wasn't a lot of room for that type of examination. It was more, it kind of felt like not an info dump, but like just sort of like, here's what happened, and that's like totally fine and valid. And I did like that in this book, which is of course being published and is available to the public, he talked about all the times he cried, like crying in front of Secret Service and stuff like that. And like that's great, right? Like, talking about that in a public sphere is great, but like, how much more powerful would it have been to see you crying at the funeral, which I think he said he didn't, or to like, I don't know. I just think we expect so little from our leaders in terms of emotional intelligence and emotional leadership. And that's why, one thing I miss about Barack Obama, like, listen, Barack Obama was not a perfect president, not by a long shot, but one thing you can't deny was that like, he led from a place of emotion, and like, that is something we could really use right now. That's kind of all I really want to say on this. It was a fine little read. It was just under 260 pages, so I read almost the entire thing in a day. Obviously, I paid $1 for it. The list price for it is $28, and sorry, Joe, like, I get that you're trying to make that money, but this, like I said, was 260 pages, which means you're paying more than 10 cents a page. That's how that math works, right? Yeah. And I just don't think that's worth it. This is also hardcover, so maybe paperback would be cheaper. I don't think I can justify $28 for a book that isn't even 300 pages. That's a fuck ton of money. However, there were a ton of copies of this at my Dollar Tree, so if you want to pick this up, I do recommend it. Absolutely worth it for $1. It was nice to have the chance to know the person who's hopefully going to be our next president better. This doesn't make me like his policies any better. This doesn't make me think that he is any more right for the presidency than the other Democratic candidates that I was supporting in the primaries. I still don't want Joe Biden to be president, but it was nice to have this like peek into his life, and to see him be emotionally vulnerable in a way that he hasn't really been on the campaign trail. So yeah, I recommend picking it up. Like I said, it's a very quick read, and it's just interesting. So that is it for the review. I am going to leave a link in the description again for voting information, to check if you're registered, to get registered if A, you aren't, and B, if you still can in your state, and then see just information about like early voting, voting by mail, voting in person, and how that works in your state. Please vote if you are an eligible U.S. voter. It's not fucking around time. Like, if this is legit. Yeah. Listen, Joe Biden isn't the best candidate. He's not who I wanted. He wasn't even in my top 5 choices, but he is who we have, and he is undeniably preferable to the alternative, which we are living through right now. So please vote. Vote down ballot. Research shit. It's actually not that difficult. I did my ballot in like an hour. So something else to think about. Just like, vote down ballot, vote for all of your propositions or constitutional amendments and your judges and your county board seats and all this shit. Vote for it, because it really does matter. My arm is very tired. I am very tired. I need to eat some food, and then I'm going to record a video that went up before this one. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.